Oh my gosh, for all the females building empires out there, and I know you're one because I'm one too, I'm talking to you. The thought leaders, the innovators, the curators, the rule breakers, the teachers, the mentors, the gurus, the pioneers paving the way for others. This episode is just for you. Your mindset had to change, or it gets to change, so that you can create a bigger ordeal, right? That big idea. Your thoughts get to change so that you show up bigger, and you get to be a bigger impact with the empire that you are creating by being that trailblazer that you are meant to be. And you get to change your mindset in order to do that. Wherever you're watching from, thank you. We appreciate you and your viewership. If by chance there's a link above you in the feed, go ahead and click that and come on over here to the Erin Strayer Show. We'll be able to see you and see your comments over here on the page. If you're listening from any other platform or you're watching our podcast, listening to our podcast, thank you so much. Please give us a, hey, I'm from wherever, and a hashtag replay if you're on the replay side of this as well. We are live on the Erin Strayer Show, where we are all about promoting, cultivating, and expanding amazing female entrepreneurs that are out in the world doing things just a little bit differently. We talk about hot topics and pain points like mindset. We're going to talk about that today. The cool thing is, here on the Erin Strayer Show, we give you the tools to those challenges that we face every single day. So yes, you're going to walk away today with some tools that you can plug in to your life and your business right now. I'm your host, Erin Strayer, and recovering corporates and entrepreneurs hire me to get them business beyond the basics, because most are indecisive. They're held hostage by their own fear, and quite frankly, have settled for average, C+, blah, vanilla. Nobody wants to be there. So I help them keep on track by setting obtainable goals, plugging gaping holes in their business and personal lives, and taking their dreams to reality. And bottom line, I provide peak performance scaling strategies for growth-minded entrepreneurs so that you and your business gets the attention to detail it deserves, and you start making money in your business. You can find me at erinstrayer.com. But this show isn't about me. This is about our guest. And after a suicide attempt left her realizing that there is more to life than she had realized, Becky Scheilga made the choice to use her experiences as her new mission. She is a best-selling author and a success growth mindset coach for females wishing to scale their businesses, helping them to overcome negative thoughts, beliefs, fears, and lack of confidence. She helps them to adapt and grow to growth-oriented mindset, to have a growth-oriented mindset, and to feel empowered to achieve their next goal with confidence. She's brilliant. She's super, super fun. You're going to have two redheads coming at you today. Oh my gosh. Please, please, please welcome my friend, Becky Scheilga. Redheads unite. It's the redhead hour. Hey girl, I'm so excited to have you on today. Thank you for taking time out of your day to come here with all of this amazingness that we're going to be talking about today.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. I am so pumped to be here today.
So it's so much fun. It's so much fun. You and I connected, gosh, it's probably been 3 months ago now. And it was like, boom, like instant friends.
Instantaneous. Yes.
I think it had something to do with the red hair.
I know. I was going to say, is that redheads?
I'm just going to say. And I adore you. I adore your personality. I really, really am excited about what you do and what we're going to talk about today, because I think that I don't care how many times we talk about mindset, we need to keep talking about mindset.
Yes.
Yeah.
So true.
So take me back a little bit in how this came to be for you, this changing your mindset, and like just a little bit of this backstory that brought us up to here.
Well, so, I mean, it started with, I was diagnosed with depression and anxiety back when I was 16, so almost 20 years ago. And it was a very long, rough, bumpy road from there to where I am now. When I was 29, and I didn't deal with a lot of my problems. We'll preface this with that too.
Who does at 16?
Nobody. So I, because you think you know it all and, it'll get better. But so at 29, I kind of hit a breaking point where I attempted suicide, and I went to rehab for about 2 weeks, just, seeing a bunch of different therapists, working on finding medications that worked for me and just working through some of my issues. I came out of that and I was like, I'm ready to do this. I'm ready to get my life on track. Like, I'm going to improve everything. And I did all the things that I thought I was supposed to do, taking my medication, going to therapy, all this stuff. But it ended, I got back right where I started. So I flash forward to the end of 2018, and I was ready to attempt a second time suicide. So yeah, I was crying on the bathroom floor, ready to, make it attempt number 2, and just asking kind of to the universe, why am I here again? I did all the things that, I thought I was supposed to do. And I really tried this time. I know I didn't last time, but I did this time. And I just didn't understand. And it was I got this kind of in between sobs and sniffles and stuff, I got this intuitive message just saying your work isn't done here. You still have stuff left to do here. And it was it stopped everything. I was it was just this voice inside my head. And I didn't know what it meant really, but I knew obviously that it meant something. And I was like, all right, you're right. I don't know what work you want me to do. I don't know how I'm going to figure it out, but I'm going to do it. I'm going to figure it out and I'm going to do this work. And I just started really just looking within myself. That's when I just started looking okay, how do I work on myself? How do I deal with my problems? And it was just piece by piece, I started realizing all the answers were inside of me. They always had been, but I never took the time to listen. And I don't think that most people do. And that's where the mindset comes in. And it's so important. We need to listen to those inner thoughts, those inner voices, those inner feelings. We don't give them nearly enough credit. We know way more than we allow ourselves to think that we do. Really.
Mm-hmm. I want to stop you, Judith, for a second, because one, I am so grateful you're still here. Because you and I get to play life now.
Yes.
And because of you still being here, I get to have you in my world. So thank you for still being around.
Thank you.
And 2, I think your story is so relatable. And I think that there are way, way, way more young girls and women who still struggle with the why am I still here doing this struggle? What is the bigger purpose? What is the why, right? Mm-hmm. And if we were clear with ourselves, I think we would all be able to admit that we have been on the bathroom floor.
Yeah.
Before.
Yeah.
And not because we were puking. We have been there, and it's hard to admit that. It's really, really hard to admit that. So what started changing when you said, okay, I don't know what this looks like. I'm going to do the work. Whatever that looks like, I'm going to do the work. What started changing for you?
So the first thing that I really did was I kind of started mapping out what do I want my life to look like? Obviously I don't want it to be like this, but what is it that I even want? And I just literally took a piece of paper and a pen and just started writing down literally everything that I've ever wanted, that I've dreamed of, that I'm still dreaming of. I want to travel the world. I want to buy a villa in Tuscany. I want to, I want to have my own, I love to sing. So I'm I want to sing. I want to record something. Every little thing that I've ever wanted to do, I just started writing it down. And then I just started thinking about okay, if I want all these things, who is the girl that I have to be to go out and get all these things, to make all these things happen, because it's not the girl crying on the bathroom floor, so how do I have to be this girl? How do I get to be this girl? And that's when it was just like, okay, I need to feel this confidence. I need to be brave. And then I started like writing down like all the characteristics that like I needed to embody in order to like just go out there and make this happen. Because I know like looking at that list at first, it was like, okay, how am I ever going to like be able to buy a villa in Tuscany? And how am I ever going to be able to travel the entire world and do all this stuff like on my salary or whatever? So it can be like a little overwhelming at first, but then it was just like, but like, why couldn't it be me? People do stuff like this all the time. You hear all these stories. They're not just lucky,
Right,
like,
right,
they made
right,
it happen.
right. Yeah. And I think that's one of the key pieces right there that I think stop a lot of people. I'm not lucky. Things never happen to me. I'm always picked last.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like,
I mean, that's like the story of my whole life.
I mean, even to the point of I don't even ever get a front row parking spot. Right?
Right?
Like all the things. It's just never me.
Every little thing.
I
Yes.
know.
It's always never. Yes. And I think that's always the way. And then we get into that why me? Like that victim mentality. But it's so easy to get there because you feel like that is how, like, that's how your life feels, like when you don't get that parking spot every single time, like somebody just pulls in right before, like right as you're turning the
Like,
corner.
oh, that happened again.
Earlier, that could have been me. Like, so it starts to feel like that. And when you're so used to that, and I think for women, it's just so much harder. Like we're so much harder on ourselves.
Right.
So, and society doesn't help. Like, and that's one of my biggest problems too, is like, we are taught from like the beginning, like you have to look a certain way, you have to act a certain way, you have to be a certain way, you have to think a certain way. Like, it's just like, I mean, yeah, okay, like to boys, they're like, you shouldn't cry. But like, other than that, it's like, do whatever you want because you own the world. Like, it's not fair. It's
Right.
just not fair.
Right.
You start at a disadvantage.
Right. So when you figured out that you needed to do this mindset work, like, how did that all start for you?
So it's really like when I started looking at these characteristics, that I had written down to be this girl, the more I looked at it, I was like, this is all stuff that is like revolving around like my thoughts and the way that I think about myself. And then it was like, it dawned on me like this whole self-love, like, okay, well, I never really was taught that, and nobody really is. You're just expected to understand that you have to have a relationship with yourself, but nobody tells you that. And I realized that like I absolutely hated myself. I spent my whole life just like hating myself more and more because I'm like, you got yourself into this situation and you did this, and I'm blaming myself for all these things that happened. And it was just like, see, that's where you got to start. That's where you got to start thinking differently about yourself, because you're not going to be confident if you keep thinking about yourself in this awful way. You're not going to be brave if you keep thinking that, you're weak. And because that's what I felt like, everything in my life made me weak. I chose these wrong things because I was weak, when in reality, it was quite the opposite. Like, I'm here because I was strong so many times. And again, that's women, like, we don't give ourselves credit where credit is due. Like, you're so much stronger than you let yourself believe.
Yeah. So in a nutshell, pretty much flipping, hey, I made those choices because I am strong.
Yeah.
I made those choices because I am different and I choose not to be a cookie cutter.
Yes.
I made those choices because I was chosen to be here, to make this change, to make this shift, to inspire other people.
Yeah.
So how has this mindset shift that's become so important and so imperative, and is your entire business now,
Yes.
and you work with so many women specifically now to help them stand in a different environment inside of their mind, really, like you're creating a whole new neighborhood for them.
Yeah. Yeah.
really, like they got the bunko going on up there because all of their favorite people are in their neighborhood because you teach them how to surround themselves with uplifting, community of people. How has it changed your life? And then part 2 to that question is, how do you see it changing the lives of the people that you coach?
So
it's going to make you cry. I know it is. Because it happened last time we talked about this. I'm just saying, people, get your Kleenex.
Glad. It's so true, though. I mean, it is the pivotal thing for me. And honestly, I haven't, since I really made that shift, and that was right at the end of 2018, right at the beginning of 2019. And I have not had depression symptoms since then. That's never happened in almost the 20 years since I've been diagnosed. I've never gone that long. I don't even think I've ever gone a week without feeling something. So this was the pivotal shift for me. And it changed my life because it's so true that once you start thinking a different way about yourself, about the world, about what you've been through, once you change that perception and those feelings and those thoughts, everything around you shifts, monumental shifts. And it's stuff that unfortunately is right in front of your face the whole time. But until you shift your mind and your thoughts, you don't see it. It's, our brains are processing so much information per second. So it's your brains, generalize, and they put things into categories so that it can process things fast. So when you're thinking negatively, your brain is just focusing on all the negative.
True.
And vice versa. So when you're thinking positively, then all of a sudden your brain's it's not seeing the negative stuff and it's seeing the positive stuff. Your world hasn't changed. It's your thoughts in your mind that change. And I think that's so powerful because you then control your world, your reality, your everything. And that was for me, I was oh my God, I control it all. I have the power. I mean, that is essentially what it is. And it's such a empowering feeling. And in me taking this step to help other women, I'm passing that on. I'm passing on not just that message, but here's how you get to this feeling. I mean, if I could bottle it up, if I could give it to you in a pill and just be here, take this, you'll feel so much better.
But we've already been there. We've already taken the pills and they didn't work.
Exactly. So I'm just I just want every woman to feel the way that I do. This incredible, just powerful, strong feeling that you have the power, because you do. You do. Yeah. It's all within you. You just have to, you get your mind there, and it's just amazing the things that you can do. And for me, my bigger picture is global. I want to touch as many people's lives as I can. I don't think small anymore at all.
Yeah. It's not just your street.
No.
Or the 2 neighbors on either side. Yeah. And I want to point out something, that once you made the decision, your personal world changed immediately. 1, mm-hmm. 2, you knew what your mission was.
Yeah.
Undeniably what your mission was.
That worked.
And, mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And even though you might not have known how to create it, you didn't allow it to stop you. And I want to make that very, very clear, that what you've done to get yourself where you're at, and your empire is an actual empire. What you are and have been creating for this last year and a half is gastronomical. It is off the charts amazing what you have been able, and it's more than just manifesting, right? This whole, let's just take it there, and what this bigger impact really, because every single one of us, me included, we want to be a bigger impact.
Yeah.
We want to. We want to. And what is the, really, other than, can I just please spend time with you? And can you just be the little person in my head instead of this other one on the other side here all the time?
Yeah.
Because I highly recommend that, people. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Spend time with Becky.
Yeah.
Sorry, something's in my eye.
Oh, yeah. It's a contact.
Contact right there. But back to changing the world, because each one of us is here for a purpose. And clearly for you, it was like screaming at you. No, Becky, it ain't your time. Sister, you tried twice. I didn't let you. I didn't let you cross the line. You're still got stuff to do.
You have got a lot to do, girl. Yeah. So my mission, what I envision for it is like, I mean, I love traveling. So I want to have this business that, is mine, that I can do from basically anywhere in the world. And I want to travel the world. But while I'm traveling the world and while I'm seeing these amazing things and learning these amazing things, I want to have like live different workshops and like educational like seminars and things like that, where I work with women all around the world, and figure out ways to, because I love learning about like different cultures and different, people and how they live. So how they can translate this into their lives, where they live and how they live. And beyond that, even, I want to create an educational system that includes for girls of throughout different stages of their life, where they learn to love and respect themselves from the very beginning, because that needs to be taught. It needs to be. Please,
because even today, our young girls today aren't, and I'm going to just say it, they are not being taught to love themselves as they are.
Oh my God.
They are not taught that they are good enough. They are not taught that they are equal or worthy or any of that. They're not. And please, however I can help you to go do that, yeah. I'm in.
All right.
I'm in. Because I think, and I know that the people that are watching and the people that are going to be watching the replay with this feel the same way, that I think as leaders and a lot of our viewers are actual influencers out there in the world, we will get behind you. Yeah. We will get behind you and support that, whatever that looks like. And like, what's the number one thing that people can do? Like, give us a couple tools that our girls can put, our women can put in their pockets, like right now. So, I mean, I definitely, I would say the Dream Life exercise. I mean, it is life-changing. I mean, because so many of us, we think small. Even when we decide, hey, we're going to start our own business and we're going to do this, we're still dreaming small. We're like, yeah, maybe I'll make 6 figures and, I can retire early or something. But it's like, no, you can make 7 figures. You can retire your husband too. And you can do whatever you want. You can build that dream house on the coastline that you've always wanted to do. You can go travel wherever. You can put your kids through college, paying cash, whatever it is that you want to do, dream big, ladies. Stop selling yourself short. You're amazing. So, write that down, because guess what? It feels amazing when you start really being honest with yourself and start writing down those things that make you light up inside. That's where the power is. Think about those things that light you up inside. And then visualization for me is huge. I love to visualize. And you put yourself there. Think about how it smells. Think about how food tastes. Think about the noises around you. Really put yourself in that position, because that's when you will have this fire in your belly and you will be ready and raring to go. For me, those are 2 of the biggest things that get me motivated, especially in times where I might not feel as motivated, because we all have those times. So if you're feeling oh, I can't do this, anytime you're feeling that, first of all, you can do this. Second of all, put yourself in that dream life the second you feel like you can't do this, because that's when you're going to feel unstoppable again, for sure. I love that. How many things do you think should be on the list? Oh my God, don't limit yourself. All of them? Yes. Write everything down. Seriously, my list of my dream list, it's pages, because I'm going to do it all. I am doing this,
life is too short to sell yourself short, to second guess yourself, to doubt yourself. Like, it just is. It really just is. Like, enjoy it.
And I feel like every time I would probably check one off or mark one off, like I'm adding 10 more.
Things
Like,
more, yeah. Oh, absolutely, absolutely. Because every time you level up in life, like, then you've got all this other stuff now I got to do because like you're a bigger, badder person.
Right?
Yeah.
So I want to talk about what it looks like to work with you.
Yes.
Let's talk about that for a second, because I know that every now and then you have room in your calendar for new people. I don't know when that is, but what does it look like to work with you?
So right now, I mean, I have like my one-on-one calendar is open. I also I'm going to be starting this like group coaching program too, which is all surrounding money mindset and getting yourself where you need to be to have the wealth mindset, because we all need that. Money is not gross and icky. It is wonderful. You should love it. And that's the only way you're going to get all of it, is if you love it. So
gross
doing that, and then
that funny? Most of us in my generation have been taught too that exact thing, that money is gross and icky.
Yep.
And you're posturous if you think you should have all of it. Like,
yes.
Or just like weigh in your ego and get on out of that.
Yeah. And it's taken me a little while to even be able to say, like, I want to make 7 figures. I want to do this. I want to do that. I'm going to buy all these houses. I'm going to do all these things, because I felt like, oh my God, you're greedy and you're gross. Like, for even wanting that. Like, oh my God, there's people that are starving. And I was like, yeah, I'm going to help them too. Like, you know what I mean? I'm going to have so much money. I'm going to help them too. Like, we're just like, I mean, and the way I started looking at it too is, you need money to make a bigger impact.
Yeah.
Like, if you're thinking big and you want to help people, you need all this money to do it. But, so I also have my one-on-one programs, and I do 3, 6, 9, and 12-month programs. So it's really like based on where you're at. And, after we get on a discovery call and get a little bit better of an idea of where you're at, what your goals are, where you want to be, we can kind of decide from there, like, what program really looks the best for you and what's going to work the best for you and your timeline.
Yeah. And I think that that's so huge, is because not everybody fits into one of those, right?
Exactly.
Like it might not be right for everybody to plunk them into your one-on-one. Maybe they function better in your group setting, and vice versa.
Yeah,
right.
Exactly.
And so I think that that's super beneficial to, and I dropped your link in the feed so that people can just grab your calendar link, and just hop in and have a conversation with you and see if it aligns, and to spend time with you. And do you have a group or a Facebook page too where people can hang out?
I do have a Facebook page, yes. And that is the Mindful Soul Society on Facebook.
The Mindful, I'm going to have to spell that right. The Mindful Soul Society.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Hang out with her at those 2 places. Be in her space. Hang out with the amazing Becky. She will change your world. Clearly, she has changed her own. She has gone from the bathroom floor and getting off of that to creating an amazing empire, changing her mindset, changing her life, and now she's helping everybody else change theirs. So, women, we all get to have somebody like Becky in our pocket. We all get to have somebody that checks us and says, hey, sister, let's flip that terminology. Let's change that thought. Let's put a different spin on that. Let's pull you out of that, because where you're at right now is pretty negative. Let's pull you out of that and put you in a positive, because we want to up that vibe a little bit. And that person is somebody like you, Becky. And I cannot like enforce enough how having somebody like Becky, part of your team, really, it's only beneficial, not only to you and your business, but to you and your family, to you and whatever and whoever you get to influence in your world. And if you are attempting to be that bigger, better trailblazer, pioneer, soulful, inspiring person, then you get to do all the things, including changing your mindset, so that you can change your life.
You need it. Yeah.
So again, Becky's link is in the feed to her calendar. Go ahead and hop in there. That's a free call with her to see if you guys align and see if there's some way that you can work together. I, again, cannot recommend it enough. And Becky, thank you so much for your time today. Love it. So much goodness when redheads combined and get online together. It's so sassy and so good. Sorry. Everybody else, thank you so much for your time. Thank you for being with us. Thank you for watching and being valid people that hang out with us here on the Erin Strayer Show. We totally appreciate you and who you are for us. So thanks, everybody. We'll see you right back here soon. Take care.